All right, everyone, what's up? Game number 3. This is the final matchup, the final showdown, if you will, between these two players. Again, this is CheckPrime versus Strelok, game number 3. This time, we are on Zelnaga Caverns. This has been a pretty interesting series thus far. Both players going for pretty much the same build versus both games prior to this one at least. We've seen Marine Tank from Strelok and Spieling Baneling Muta from CheckPrime. I know this says Kirchi, but if you've been following the series so far, it is CheckPrime, just playing on another account or someone else's account or something like that. And yeah, been a good series so far. It's 1-1 at this point. CheckPrime did take last game, honestly, largely in fact due to a big blunder by Strelok. First and foremost, he lost a few early game tanks right in the middle of the map when he pulled back to his main base to try to defend against a Zergling run by, and that was huge. He lost 3 tanks to just a small group of Mutalisks. That was absolutely devastating, especially early game. He kind of really needed those tanks to deal with the Spielings and Banelings that were on the board as well. That forced him to sit in his base and not be aggressive and not push out, lacking that tank support. And then after that, when pushing out to try to go for another attack against CheckPrime, he ended up getting a bunch of Spielings and Mutas in his base, and it was just too much to deal with, so he just threw in the towel and called the GG. So again, here we are, game number 3 rather, between these two players, and it looks like we're going to be seeing CheckPrime moving out with that Expo. He has been favoring that fast expansion so far in this series, and he's going to stick to it. Feeling pretty comfortable with that. We can see right now Strelok going with the wall off at the bottom of his base, allowing him to wall off with just the 2 buildings instead of the 3. Actually, that this is a full wall off right now. I'm pretty positive. There could be a space right there, but I'm almost 100% positive that this is a full wall off. This is going to do a couple of things. First, of course, it's going to let him hide his tech. That first drone scout that does eventually move out, if he does. I'm not sure if he will, but yeah, there's that drone scout right now. He, of course, will not be able to push in. He's not going to be able to see any of the tech that's up here on the high ground. The other thing, too, is that we can actually see Strelok go for a second wall-off as well. He'll have this frontal wall-off, and then if there is something like a Baneling bust, he can have a second wall-off with all of his next production buildings, as well as any additional supply depots he decides to drop. So that's kind of the other advantage to that as well. We are seeing one depot being pushed in the corner over here, going to be spotting for any sort of maybe overlords trying to move in and get some scouting. Now, we can see CheckPrime trying to move forward. Going to want to pull back, though. I actually pulled back right in time, and that was a little tense for that drone because if that Marine had popped out, he could have actually dropped him pretty quickly. This Marine's actually been pulling back though and trying to catch this drone. The drone scout, I think he caught the Marine down here as well, and here we go. We are seeing a push right now from CheckPrime. Is he going to try to get a depot down before that creep spreads? It doesn't look like it. Just going to be trying to be aggressive here with this one SCV and this Marine. We do, of course, have another Marine coming down right now, and about to see an engagement between the Marine and the probe, or the drone. The drone moving down though, and he's going to actually be catching this other Marine. At the same time, we are having a scout come through with this SCV. He wants to be checking. He wants to see mining on the gas, whether or not it's coming. He wants to see if that metabolic boost is coming, and was possibly checking for a Roach Warren as well. Roach Warren's not likely to be out this early. A lot of times you're going to see if a Zerg player is going for early Roaches, he's actually just going to wait until he drops that early scouting SCV. So now that it is down, if he was indeed going for that, then he could have put it up. But he isn't. In fact, he's going to be going for that metabolic boost. I think we're going to be seeing him pull guys off the gas. No, he's going to actually be sticking up with the gas. But look at this. He's going for a third expansion sometime soon. And that's why I actually presumed that he would be dropping the gas gathering here, because it looks like he's going to be really aggressive and expanding one more time here. And in doing so, he, of course, is going to need those extra resources, those extra minerals, if you will. Now, over here, we do see that double Hellion coming out of that factory with the reactor on there. And that reactor, if it wasn't sealed off prior, is forming a full wall off right there right now. We also have Stim Pack coming down and an expansion, so Strelok are going to be opening up with Hellion Harass into an Expo, and then going to be probably going relatively bio-heavy. And here come the Hellions right now moving into the base of CheckPrime. Let's see how much damage he manages to do, and the drone's not paying quite enough attention, actually sitting right there. Now, just the 2 Hellions aren't quite as devastating as 3, because it does take 3 shots to kill 1 drone, so they actually have to go through 2 volleys. These 2 guys need to go through 2 volleys to actually kill anything. And actually getting a little bit surrounded here, needs to pay attention to the micro and try to stay away from those Zerglings as much as possible. Unfortunately, they are able to catch up a little bit on that creep, and Zergling's getting us around, getting a few extra shots. I think this one may make it, and here we go, a couple more. So now finally at the 3, doesn't want to lose that one though. Oh, unfortunately, letting him catch up, he wasn't able to micro that away, and now actually those Spielings have gotten that metabolic boost, so it's going to be a little bit easier for them to deal with that. But at the exact same time, we are seeing Strelok pull back home, so he has given up on this harassment, not going to be pursuing it any further at this point. But we do see some additional Hellions, so it actually looks like he's going to be moving out sometime again in the near future. And there again is no Roach Warren. When he got that full scout of the base, he saw that there was a lack of a Roach Warren. And if he pushes out with all these Hellions, he could actually do some tremendous damage with some proper micro. 2 Marines going to be trying to drop that Overlord before it scouts anything important. I think he did manage to do so. And here come the big wave of Hellions right now. Needs to be careful not to get surrounded. That was actually a really bad spot. He did manage to line up quite a few Zerglings, though, and dropped a lot, but the Zerglings doing a good job of getting us around. But all the Zerglings are gone. These 3 Hellions going to be free to roast some of these workers right now. We've got 12 Zerglings making their way on in. The Queen pushing forward and probably going to be trying to block the ramp. At least I would imagine they would be trying to do so. And so much damage going down right now. Strelok just doing absolutely tremendous amounts of damage and not able to block the ramp right now. Hands might be able to move forward, but no, Zerglings pulling forward and going to be dropping at least one of these. And there we go. Still Strelok staying in the game, keeping his head in things, and going to be trying to kill as many as possible. And that was tremendous amounts of damage there from Strelok. Let's take a look at the unit loss station. Hugely one-sided there. 1,500 resources as opposed to the 800 lost for Strelok. So Strelok definitely paid for those Hellions and then some. We are having a Zergling Scout moving down right now. He's going to be trying to check that expansion, but didn't manage to get there in time. I'm almost 100% positive that he didn't see that Expo go down, and no, he didn't. So wasn't able to push in quite far enough, unfortunately. But here we go, CheckPrime moving forward with a few more. He really wants to know whether or not Strelok has expanded or if he's going to be getting a 1-base all-in, but unfortunately still not getting that scouting information. There are just far too many Hellions on the board. That's forcing him to push back home just in order to defend against his push once it does eventually come. Let's take a look at that production tab. We have a Spire making its way on out. Now, of course, that's going to help quite a bit against the Hellions, but not against these Marines here. We do have these 3 racks right now. Unfortunately, getting supply blocked there. A little bit of a blunder by Strelok. Hopefully he takes care of that sometime soon. He did, in fact, drop down that extra supply there and has another depot coming out over here as well. If you ever get supply blocked, it almost warrants dropping down an extra supply, because again, supply blocked, especially early in the game, any point in the game really, but early in the game it can really set you back quite a bit. And here comes the push right now, but the Spire just finishing. We're going to be seeing some mutas come out. Now at this point, CheckPrime fully aware of this Hellion push because of all these creep tumors. This nice creep spread here, the tumors are letting him see that, but here comes some more units here. Strelok going to be pushing pretty aggressively. We do have 3 mutas making the way on out. Your question may be, well, why are there only 3 mutas? There are only 3 mutas because of the tremendous amounts of damage that Strelok did early game with that Hellion harassment. The worker count is just very, very low for CheckPrime, and he can't really afford a lot of mutas, and this actually could be his doom right here. Here we go, Hellions moving forward. There are a few Queens on the board, gonna push them back at least a little bit. Zergling's getting ready to push forward. He wants to wait till he grabs those mutas as well, so we can engage with everything. And here we go, big push coming down from Strelok. Not a lot of Marines, though. I'm not sure how easily he's gonna be able to deal with those mutas. Gonna be moving forward with the Zerglings, trying to take out as many Marines as possible, and then pulling forward with those mutas, target firing any remaining Marines. Now the mutas are obviously going to do a great job, but I don't know if it's going to be before CheckPrime loses all of his workers. This is very dangerous right now. Wants to try to wall off right there with his units, if at all possible. Zerglings move forward here as well. Where are those mutas? Just chilling out over there. A little bit of miss micro there by CheckPrime. Strelok also sitting with a few units right over there. A little bit confused as to why neither player is putting their units to a maximum effectiveness here. Going to be pulling back down, but look at so little workers right now. 21 as opposed to the 40. Needs to counterattack, and that is in fact what he's trying to do, but walking right into Marines, dropping that 1 muta, and with these turrets up now, these 2 mutas obviously not going to stand any chance at all. This is looking very, very bad right now for CheckPrime. I'm not sure what he can do. He is so far behind economically in terms of army size too, way behind. He's got half the army size right now of Strelok, and taking a look at that income, again, 27 to 44 workers. Look at that big discrepancy in resource gathering at the moment. Strelok just at a tremendous advantage, and here comes the push right now, and again, not looking good. A couple of Banelings rolling forward. That's actually going to help quite a bit because all of these units are light with the exception of a couple Marauders. He wants to keep those Banelings in the back and pull them out, but nice spread there of those Marines. So even when the Banelings roll forward, trying to catch up to the Marines and walking right by the Marines, they in fact didn't feel like attacking them. They just wanted to brush alongside him, get a nice little feel up or something. I don't know, but that was very unfortunate. He had a great opportunity with those Banelings. Unfortunately, some miss micro kind of lost it for him there. Marines pulling down and going to be completely harassing the economy here. There's no more gathering. This Expo is going to get dropped. Mutas cannot engage all of those Marines. There are just too many there. Zergling's moving forward as well, so going to be trying to take advantage of this situation and pull forward. Queen's going to be coming down to engage as well, so just barely able to defend. Now, as you can see right now, again, this is the third game in the series right now. It is 1-1. Obviously, at this point, CheckPrime just doesn't want to give up. He's sticking in the game and doing what he can. I mean, that's a good mentality in StarCraft in general, but it just, I don't know. This is almost an impossible situation right now. He is so far behind. We can see Strelok getting ready to get to his third. I mean, obviously, this doesn't help. That's Strelok. This happens to me sometimes, too, and this is the most frustrating in the world. Look, this is a pro player, and he had SCVs just chilling out, following some guy around. Maybe there was like some popularity contest. Maybe they were doing the Mamba. I don't know. But Strelok coming out with a bunch more production buildings. That is, of course, because he is looking to expand very soon. He's going to be able to afford a lot more production than he has right now. Few Hellions moving forward, trying to continue up this harassment, and yeah, this has just been so tough for CheckPrime. His economy has been hurting so bad. It was really, honestly, that initial Hellion push that really did him in. He just lost so many workers, and from this point forward, as a result, you know, you lose so many workers, you are then forced to spend your larva on more workers to try to get back up and catch up an economy. But if you do that, then you become incredibly vulnerable to a big push, and obviously we saw Strelok take full advantage of that. Now, the two Hellions that he did have did unfortunately get dropped by these mutas. Mutas moving forward, they're going to try to do what they can. I don't know, there are just too many turrets sitting up. We also have some Marines sitting in the main base here, which are going to be able to quite easily deal with these mutas, and again, he just doesn't have the numbers right at this point. His economy hurting way too badly, destroying the rocks over here, going to be moving his expansion into the high yield, and Strelok, I mean, come on. Strelok's in a commanding position. I don't know. I mean, we really need to see some huge harassment right now from CheckPrime. If he can manage to take out like an entire base worth of workers, then maybe he has a chance, but right now it's not looking good. Trying to move around with these mutas and do as much harassment as possible, but look at all those Marines and those turrets pulling back those mutas. They just can't engage. It's too much. They're going to get shredded if they even try. Few banelings sitting over here. Let's take another look at that army tab, 72 to 129. Taking a look at that unit station, we've got 32 drones as opposed to the 59 SCV, so still at this point CheckPrime is behind. Would like to see him get up a third, but at this point again he's not even fully saturated. Getting close though, but he's still not in the best position economically, so expanding doesn't make a lot of sense. And again, he obviously needs to make enough units to defend himself, and just look at this death ball of Terran units getting ready to push forward. We do have, he's going to be trying, CheckPrime's trying to hide an expansion up here, and that's probably his best bet actually. If he can get this up and running, he may be in a good spot, but here comes the push from Strelok. Scan going down, dropping down some of these creep tumors here. Another scan going down, dropping down more creep tumors. Marines going to be pushing forward. Needs to stay away though. Stim pack and move away from those Marines if at all possible. Trying to continue up some harassment here. Zergling's actually moving into the middle line. This is exactly what CheckPrime needs to do. Harass that economy as much as possible, but these Stim Marines ever threatening at the front. This is really awesome though from CheckPrime. Unfortunately though, the bunker right here as well as some Marines and that tank did manage to push back those Zerglings. He did still do some decent amount of damage. Let's take another look at that unit loss station though. Actually pretty even right now in terms of resources. Both players about even. Zerglings and Banelings moving forward. Banelings not in the right position though. Was probably paying attention to microing down those mutas, which of course is the wise decision because his mutas are very, very expensive. Don't want to lose those. Some more units streaming down right now for Strelok, though. Another look at that army tab. Strelok still pretty much in a commanding position right now, holding the center, has those tanks sieged up. Going to be very difficult for Spielings and Banelings to push out against this. You can see he's going to be starting to work on those mutas numbers. Needs to kind of get that big death cloud of mutas to properly deal with this, and also needs to try to snipe down some of these tanks. And I don't know, trying to do what he can to come back. Strelok, though, ever encroaching onto the expansion here of CheckPrime. CheckPrime, again, if at all possible, would like to get this saturated. It is a hidden expansion. And we are seeing a drop come down from Strelok. Going to be dropping down a few of these Marines, but here come the mutas moving on in, sniping down that. But at the same time, big push, tanks going down. Zerglings and Banelings getting a full surround on those tanks. Excellent play there by CheckPrime, but we do still have a few tanks back there and huge Marine numbers. He needs some more Banelings to deal with this. Stim going down, Banelings rolling forward. Some good micro by Strelok, but no, losing a lot of Marines, but still not enough Banelings, and there is the GG from CheckPrime. There were too many Marines right here, as well as these 4 tanks sitting in the back. This Expo was just about to drop, and he didn't have any units to defend right now. Had he had some more Banelings, he may have been able to deal with that, but there was a really good spread there from Strelok. Did a decent job of microing away from those Banelings, and again, those tanks obviously helped quite a bit. So this was a great series between these two players. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Again, Strelok did come out victorious, but either way, guys, stay tuned. We do have, I think, at least one more video coming out today. It's going to be a strategy video, so stay tuned for that. And as always, guys, if you like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Keep watching and keep owning. Takes out his opponent, And I'm not going to say that's a guarantee. It's not likely to happen, but it's possible. It's quite possible, especially, again, realizing the fact that our opponent is thinking Cloak Banshees are coming, so they're spending resources and preparing for Cloak Banshees, probably getting Mutalisk. Right about now is when Mutalisk could be on the board. You can see, taking a look, we're at 10 minutes. The Spire's up. He's got the Baneling Nest as well. He's playing pretty standard against what a Terran player, what a Zerg player would play against a Terran player. He's playing pretty standard so far. He could very well have Mutalisk right now, and again, dealing